Tony played with her hair down there. He kept rubbing his little palm on it, playfully, till he began seeing her aunt's legs shaking as she made strange sounds.
Welcome to Folktales of Africa with T-bwoy. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell, and please like our videos. Thank you.
Little Tony lived with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Adams, in a lovely estate. Despite their busy schedules, they prioritized spending quality time with Tony, engaging in various games that fostered a happy family atmosphere. When Tony's aunt Dorcas came to visit, his parents welcomed her presence, as she could assist in caring for Tony, allowing them more time for other activities. However, Tony struggled to connect with his aunt. He was uncomfortable with the idea of sharing time with her instead of his parents, as he was accustomed to their exclusive company. Despite Aunt Dorcas' efforts, Tony found it challenging to accept her as part of their family. Observing closely, she discovered that Tony enjoyed being read to, a routine his mother, Mrs. Adams, had established by reading bedtime stories to him each night. Noticing this, Dorcas decided to take over the bedtime reading. As she began to read stories to Tony every evening, their bond strengthened, and they soon became inseparable, often seen playing together. One morning, Dorcas found herself yearning for the company of a man, having gone without such intimacy for a considerable time. She tossed and turned in bed, grappling with this intense desire, before ultimately rising to attend to her daily responsibilities. Later that evening, as little Tony prepared for bed, Dorcas invited him to her room. "I bought new storybooks on my way back from the market today. Come and join me so we can read together," she said. Upon hearing this, Tony began bouncing up and down with joy. Holding his hands, they both walked to her chamber with smiles on their faces. Tony's parents were pleased to see how well their young son and his aunt were now getting along. As she watched them depart the living room, Mrs. Adams remarked, "Who thought these two would be cool pals like this?" Tony was eager to be read to when Aunty Dorcas brought out the new book she had purchased. As Dorcas read the book, Tony cuddled down next to her in bed. Dorcas had a lot of hair, and Tony was always fascinated by her body hair. Tony's tiny, delicate hands were softly stroking Dorcas' hand hair while she read the book. Dorcas initially found it to be ticklish, but as Tony continued, she began enjoying it. Since she was already battling with strong need for a man's touch since morning, she was enjoying every bit of Tony's innocent touch. After a while, she said, "I can see you like the hair on my body." Little Tony innocently replied, Yes, Auntie, it's beautiful and nice. It feels nice when I rub my hands on it." Dorcas smiled as she looked at him. Suddenly, she said, "I even have more appealing hair down there. You can see it and touch it." Little Tony responded eagerly, Yes, let me see." Dorcas then revealed it to him. "Wow, it's true, Auntie," Tony exclaimed joyfully. "Go ahead, touch it and play with it," she encouraged. Innocently, Tony played with her hair down there. He kept rubbing his little palm on it, playfully, till he began seeing her aunt's legs shaking as she made strange sounds. "Auntie, are you okay?" Little Tony asked curiously. With a strange, soft voice, she replied, "Yes, don't worry about me. Keep playing with the hair and please don't stop." After a while, she exhaled strongly and calmed down. "It's okay, Tony. It's late and you need to sleep now," she said. Aunty Dorcas put Tony to sleep as she recounted her experience with him. After a long time, the strong urge was satisfied, she said to herself. "Though I didn't plan it, I loved it," she added. From that night, Dorcas practically moved Tony to her room and kept doing this with him. Tony also loved doing it because to him, he was playing with his auntie. One night, as Tony was busy rubbing her little yet soft palm on her auntie's hair down there, the strange sounds got louder as her legs shook vigorously. Tony was more curious to know if Dorcas was okay, but she kept asking him to focus on playing with her hair and not to worry about her. Tony's parents heard the strange sounds from their room, but they thought she was an adult and could please herself, not knowing Tony was the tool for that pleasure. The following night, Dorcas' strange sounds got even louder, and her sister went to her door to quiet her, saying, "Sis, there is a baby in the house, so please, as you do your thing as an adult, keep your voice down." When Tony heard his mother's voice, he shouted, "Mom, we are playing." Hearing her son's voice, Mrs. Adams rushed into the room, and there her sister was, in bed with no clothes and Tony playing with her hair. Anger and disappointment enveloped her. She took Tony away from the room and she shouted at her sister Dorcas. She expressed her disappointment at Dorcas' action. Dorcas did apologize to her sister, but she refused to accept the apology. Mr. Adams was very angry at her actions for indulging the little boy in such acts. "We trusted our child in your hands, and this is what you do to us? I'm disappointed in you," said Mr. Adams. "Had you not been a sister to my wife, I would have called the police on you right now." The next morning, Tony's mother decided to throw Dorcas out of the house, but Tony would not let her. Tony cried and didn't want her aunt out of the house. But as a parent, she had to do the needful. She insisted and threw Dorcas out of the house. For days, Tony didn't eat, speak, or play with both parents. All he wanted to do was to see his auntie Dorcas and play with the hair down there. But with time, he forgot about it and bonded with his parents again. Moral of the story: be careful who you trust your child with. Many are always ready to take advantage of their innocence.
Please subscribe to the channel, like and share our videos. Thank you.